So we'll move away from those two series because we got two other series going down, not down 2-0. One series is tied 1-1. That's y'all Sixers against the Atlanta Hawks going back to Atlanta for game 3. And then the Jazz up 1-0 against the Clippers. That game is also tonight. So tomorrow morning when this drops, we'll know the results, but we won't know it tonight. So for the Sixers Hawks series and then the Jazz Clippers series, I'll just pose overall questions. For the Sixers Hawks, and I want to know from y'all personally, Kyle, you got the Sixers hat on right there, so you repping. It got shaky, baby, in game 1. You guys got game 2, but are you still confident going to Atlanta? And y'all been cocky about this series even before it started. Neither of y'all were
100%.
worried. And then Trae Young came in and took y'all lunch money. You were I
was the one who said Atlanta worries me more. Kyle said, I'm not worried at all. It's ridiculous.
At all. Ridiculous.
I'm not worried at all.
I said Atlanta actually is a path to victory where the Knicks don't. I definitely would not want to face
you did, but you ranked them. You didn't say you were worried. You said I'm more worried than the Knicks because the Knicks obviously don't worry a soul. But you said, I'm more worried about the Hawks. That don't mean overall the series worried you.
I said they had a path that they could win. Now, it could mean that they could win every game or they could lose every game, which I thought they would lose probably every game. I did. I thought they would probably lose. All right, whatever. I thought they would lose every game. But if they're going to shoot like they did in game 1, if the Sixers are going to handle the ball poorly like they did in the first half, it's going to make it tough against Atlanta, but they made some adjustments, so I'm pretty positive.
9 turnovers in the first quarter in game 1. And a lot of them was from your stars who aren't supposed to turn the ball over. Game 2 was a roller coaster of emotions. Fly out the gate. Then that second quarter, there seems to just y'all just pull a hammy in the second quarter because it slows up crazy, and then it was a 2-point game at halftime. So I know you were worried a little bit there, Kyle, but you're still not worried at all in the series.
I'm not worried at all in this series. I am not. I'm sorry. Trae Young would have had to done what he did in game 1 every game. He's not going to. We have him figured out now. Danny Green is not going to defend him one more time in this series. I'm sitting in my seat game 1. I was at the game. And I'm just, why is Danny Green? Why is he defending him? And then it was the next possession. Is anyone watching this game like I am right now? Like Doc Rivers, I respect you, but why is Danny Green on Trae Young every single time down the court?
I have a theory.
And then you finally switch that, and he goes 6 for 16, and Kevin Huerter looks the most impressive on the Hawks. I mean, I'm not worried about this team. If they take a game off of us in Atlanta, sure, that's fine. I have no doubts the series won't be any worse than 2-2 for the Sixers coming back to Philly, and we're going to beat them in 6 if that happens. So I'm not worried about this at all. I think you have advantages down the chart. I mean, and Shake Milton's going to play now. Tyrese Maxey, sorry, goodbye for your minutes. You might play like 6 minutes a game now. That's fine. Hopefully it eats up more into George Hill's minutes, but, that's just me being a Maxey fan.
No, Furkan. That's the minutes y'all need to get.
No, Furkan buckets, bro. Furkan gets buckets.
Furkan was big in the comeback game.
I'm not even worried about the bench team anymore like I was now. And I know it's one Shake game, but our bench is outperforming their bench now. Mm-hmm. I mean, DeAndre Hunter's now out. I mean, you don't root for injuries, but it happens. We have to assess that. DeAndre Hunter, arguably the second best player on that team statistically, is out for the remainder of the playoffs. So I'm not worried about this team, man. I'm not. I've been saying it since we got to the playoffs. We got lucky that the 4-5 matchup was Knicks-Hawks, and see you in the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, I'm that confident.
I have a theory that's wild that you start. You will have still the same amount of wins they do in the series. Like it's y'all lose.
That's cool.
Y'all lose tomorrow night and it gets real scary. But
I've been saying the same thing for 3 weeks now about these playoffs. See you in the Eastern Conference Finals, and let's hoop.
That's the hill. That's the hill you're gonna die on. You live by it, die by it. But
no, sir.
I have a theory as to why Danny Green stayed on to Trae Young for that long. At first, I actually think Doc said, you know what? I'm going to respect Danny Green as, a respected defender in this league. He's going to get the first shot at Trae Young to see what he's got. It very quickly was the wrong decision. Doc is a little bit stubborn and was like, one, I'm going to give him a chance to try to get it together. But two, no, I know this is the right decision. And it got really ugly really quick. Doc also knows this is a marathon, not a sprint. So just like you said, Kyle, you got to do that for every game. And what someone like Trae Young doesn't know, a guy who's in his first playoff series, the bright lights are on him, he just took down New York, he's soaking it all in. You don't know not to lead or give all you got in game 1. Show your entire arsenal in game 1. And they almost rope-a-doped them. Like they say, keep getting them buckets, Trae. It's a blowout. And y'all been starting to make a comeback. It's a blowout. Give us as many buckets as you can. Show us the whole package. Because now in games 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however many long, we have tape on you now. And now here comes Matisse or Ben to quiet that noise. So, like, I think Trae Young might have given everything that he had in that game 1 performance, rightly so. He hooped. But now when you got nothing else to go to in your bag, and we done seen it all now. So now that's why Kevin Huerter or Bogey looks good. And
yeah, Huerter's look good in both games.
Bogey looked good, but what a luxury it is to have both Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle on the defensive end. Like Ben Simmons shadowed Trae Young, then Trae Young has his off shooting night, and Ben Simmons will always draw the assignment of the other team's primary offensive scorer. But what I see Doc do is use Matisse Thybulle in this like quiet that noise kind of role where if someone gets hot on the other team, if a role player gets hot, Matisse, go in there and stop that. But Bogdan Bogdanovic had this run in late first quarter, early second quarter where he was starting to hoop. Then Matisse Thybulle went on him, and I didn't hear about that man for the rest of the night. Like it really quieted after that, and it's kind of baller. Like it's kind of G where Matisse just goes and puts out the fire wherever it is.
And they also have the ability. Like, it's like if Ben and Matisse are out there and it's like, okay, we know that their main action is they're going to do a pick and roll. They're going to bring Collins up. So we put Matisse on Trae and then we put Ben on Collins. So then when you want the switch? Okay, now you got Ben Simmons. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Congratulations, you just won yourself Ben Simmons. So like
the penitentiary.
The penitentiary. I do think it's a great point also on the other side of like the adjustment factor where you don't want to show what like Doc kind of thought game 1 was in the can. Come halftime, it's like, all right, we're down 20 something. We'll get them next time. You don't want to show the adjustment for game 2. So now game 3 is going to be all about how can we get, if you're Atlanta, how can we get Trae back on to Danny Green when he's on the floor? And that's kind of the chess match that you're going to see. In my opinion, that's the chess match that you're going to see. And then for Philly,
what I fear, do you remember when Toronto hunted JJ Redick in those pick and rolls? Every time JJ Redick was
Boston
on the floor,
did it too. I mean, it's that, but that's what the playoffs is. It is. Oh, we found here's our counter. Oh, you can't answer.
We are smashing that button until you stop it. Until you literally doing it until you stop it. Like what?
And for that reason, I think the Sixers have way more answers in terms of what we can do versus what the Hawks can do. Mm-hmm. And for that reason, that's just why I'm not super worried. Now, again, there's always that possibility that Atlanta, the phenomenal 3-point shooting team, can just go out there and blow you out of the water. Yeah. There are nights like that, but Sixers hopefully should have the means to stop that.
Well, here's why I think the Sixers got it back under control, even though you guys still have to take home court back. And I think when you take home court back, it's back to your series, as a whole. But the Hawks, it was momentum after beating the Knicks. And Trae Young was riding a whole lot of momentum, and he carried it into game 1. He came right off a series. You guys had a little bit of rest. You guys had to get their engines revving a little bit. And all you needed to do was throw something at him that either made him pause or go off course. Just stop the momentum. Because as soon as you stop the momentum, and now it's ball team against ball team, there's way more talent on the Sixers than there is on the Hawks. The Hawks get hot, and they will ride a hot streak, and it will be hard to stop them if they're hooping and have that mentality. As soon as you get it back down to earth and now it's even playing field, way too much talent on the Sixers for this to still continue to be a series. And I think y'all got it back on track. And by the way, Embiid went for 40 in game 2, a light one. After the day Jokic gets announced for MVP, a light 40 and a dub.
Yeah, and another reason I'm really not worried about Trae Young is he's not that efficient. For the amount of shots,
7 from 3 in game 2.
He's shooting like 30.
Didn't hit it until like the late third quarter too.
Yeah, and he's shooting like 30% from 3 in these entire playoffs, even with all those 30-point games against the Knicks. So if that's your offense, and we have 2 guys that can, limit him more than any other team, has 2 guys in the entire league, which I believe Ben Simmons and Matisse Thybulle to be on perimeter defenders. I'm not worried about you. You can have your 26 shots tonight.
When you stop his drive,
26 shots tonight.
When you don't let him get into the lane, he becomes a much more one-dimensional player. Like I said, in the beginning of the series, I'm like, you got to hope, you got to pray he hits one of those like 35-footers early in the game because he'll take them all game and he'll go 1 for 7, which I know it's not exactly how it worked out. He hit it later in the game. But like, if you could stop him from driving, that's key.
Right.